Hello, Jen Marie. How are you? Virginia, good to see you. Charlie Murphy. Charlie, I am so sorry to hear about your the loss of your grandfather. Thoughts and prayers are with Charlie Mullins and his family. I'm so sorry, my brother. I really am. Davey, good to see you. Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida. Good to see you. Hey, Lisa. Lisa, would it make you feel better if I told you I had contact lenses in? It would be a lie, but would it make you feel better? Tree hugging Buddhist. Check this out, though. I'm blowing this up. See this? Now it's huge. Midnight Show. Good to see you. Mischief Managed. How are you? Good to see you. Good morning, Tommy Bird. Moni, thank you so much. It's you know what? We're pretty damn proud of hitting 20K. You know what was cool too is we did this. If you missed last night, boy, oh boy, if you missed last night, I am sorry for you. Because last night was heavy. You know, we do heavy pretty well on the lifeboat. Heavy is something we do pretty well. A lot of past trauma on the boat. And for that reason, we talk about a lot of really heavy stuff. And we've had guests come on here and talk about just about everything. But last night, I was over on Reese's channel, just stopping in. It wasn't a boat thing. I didn't think it was a boat thing. I was just stopping in to say hello from the Pepper Festival out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Reese was very, very open and very, very honest yesterday. Thank you, Mischief Managed. You are appreciated. 20 for 20. Thank you. We'll take it. I remember when we hit 2,000 subscribers, says Seventh. You know what, Seventh? I bet you do. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and we were pretty damn proud when we hit 2,000. We started. I immediately said there are thousands of people in the lifeboat. Like you can't say that when you got 1,900, right? Thank you, Angie. It was. It happened at the exact same time that Reset 20,000. That's actually probably one of the coolest things that's ever happened in YouTube. I'm sorry, it really is. Does this mean we are celebrating with Vegemite? You know, boy, and if we were in the office, I could have just reached over right now, grabbed a can of Vegemite. Do you know that dirty Alan Ballantyne sent me a meme last night? And the meme is, it looks like LA Beast. I'm 100% sure it's LA Beast when he's about 20, like early LA Beast. Right? For real. And he's going at it with a spoon. It's the grossest meme you've ever seen. Cosmic Christie, can we throw some ones up for Cosmic Christie, who says that she can't see personally today, but she's listening. Thoughts and prayers with you. You could try to drink some Bovril. D. Audrey Gore, now you're just being cruel. See, now this is just laying it on thick. That's what that is. Christy, yeah, you may not be able to see this, but there's a lot of people who are putting up thoughts and prayers for you. You've got a lot of family and support here. Being Australian, I love my Vegemite. I can't get it here in Japan. Do we need to figure out a way to get some of that over to you in Japan, Wesley John Holmes? Because that doesn't seem fair to me that you can't get your Vegemite in Japan. Thank you, Midnight Show. I don't think you have any idea how shocked I am that we're at 20,000. And that may sound like something that every YouTuber says. And I'll be really honest, I shouldn't be shocked, because at about 18,000, it becomes pretty obvious you're going to hit 20,000. At 10,000, it becomes pretty obvious you're going to hit 20,000. Honestly, especially at the rate we were growing. But I was shocked that we ever hit 1,000. Once we hit 1,000, it started to feel like maybe this was something that other people saw. but the 20K seemed really out of range. I would be absolutely lying to you if I told you I did not fully 100% expect to have to eat a crap load of Vegemite when I hit 100,000 subscribers. The lifeboat is a force to be reckoned with. Thank you. I'm proud of all of you. I really am. I hope that that's coming across, because there's not 20,000 people here because of me. I promise you there's not. I love all of the support. I love everybody here. I really do. You know what? This is a real issue for me, and I think you're onto something. So I don't know if you can see this, but I have lived in Australia, but I still want to vomit when I smell Vegemite. It smells like aspirin to me, so much so it's just incredible. Surely Japan has Vegemite Kit Kat. I'm sorry. What? What? There's a Vegemite Kit Kat? Please tell me somebody's farting around with me and there's no such thing as a Vegemite Kit Kat.
It looks like chocolate. It isn't chocolate, though.
Vegemite?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
Well,
Spanx Calhoun is weighing in and saying it only looks like chocolate. It's not Vegemite. Apparently, though, Calhoun, there may be a Vegemite Kit Kat.
that's why I said that. That's weird.
Weird. Cosmic Chrissy, we love you too. I love yous. Well, we love yous too. Yes, Kit Kats, but no Vegemite. Well, you're batting 500 then. Batting 500 then. The things that they added to it. Johnny Scoville every day tries to tell me he's adding something to this. I will take it. I absolutely will take it. I have facilitated the ability for a lot of really cool people to come together. I am not down. Not. But I'm absolutely a realist too. And I really am. A lot of fun. But it's interesting. No, I'm a realist, people. It's interesting to talk to somebody that's been a criminal and then gotten out of it. That's not something that happens very often. And when it does, this is going to sound so crappy, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to sound like the world's biggest egomaniac, and I straight up don't care anyway. A lot of times when people get clean, or people get sober, or people turn their life around, or they stop committing crime or whatever, they get a great payday out of it. I'm not mad at anybody that does that, by the way. You have that coming, especially if you went away, because you traded a lot of your life. If there is a way to get paid on that, friggin' get paid on that. I'm not upset at anybody that does that. But I don't want to spend the rest of my life getting paid because I'm a convict. Okay? And this has been a thing with the book. With the book has been and the screenplay or whatever they want to do. You want to tell my life story? This is my life story. Right? So I'm absolutely about taking credit. I really am. But I want to make sure that I'm a realist too. I think one of the reasons that people dig watching this is because I am not paying lip service to the lifestyle that I'm talking about. I'm not. I'm waist deep in this. I really am. I'm as waist deep in this sobriety crap as you could possibly get it. I really am, and I'm in the lives of so many people doing this. I think one of the reasons that people dig what I do is because I'm really doing it, and I'm not. Again, people that get out and start channels don't do what I do. I dig JD Delay because he does a lot of what I do. And that may sound like I'm being arrogant again, and I'm not. I think that if you end up with a platform, you better do something more than just get paid with it. And I think that there are guys out there with prison channels that are doing that. And that's just my opinion. They can do whatever they want. They can go out there and just curse all day if they like. It's their channel. They can do whatever they want with it. It's YouTube. But I dig what JD Delay does. I do. He's building a community. He's talking a lot about people getting out of prison, Hold on. Where is Hef? Because somebody just laughed, so I know. There's Hef. Inappropriate Heifer. Good to see you this morning. Lisa, I'm wearing contact lenses. Well, I'm not, but I should be. I'm going to have to get some. He does have a kind spirit. That's I'm glad that somebody put that better than I could have. I think that's probably a great way to put it. He has a kind spirit. I agree with you. Pebbles, drop the microphone. There you go. Because you're a convict, you have insight. Because you have got clean, you've got a lot to teach. Because of the lifeboat, people are connected. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that. I appreciate you. You're welcome. I am pretty damn proud of this channel. I really am. I am really proud of this channel. And this is going to sound awful too, but I don't care. More proud people do. There was a YouTube creator, does not matter who. There's a YouTube creator who said something that, and it got back to me. And the person, they were just commenting on the boat, and they weren't being unkind in any way. They really weren't. But what they said was, it makes absolutely no sense to me that anybody watches what that dude does. And I thought, yeah, it probably makes a lot of sense to somebody that has never had a habit. I'll bet you my channel just does not seem to make sense to a lot of people. Arwa, I am honored. Thank you. Truthfully, I am honored. And it sounds a little bit better than midnight. Thank you. I am honored. How cool is that? This channel is my third baby, to be sure. To be sure, this channel is my third baby. And you know what, people? I would say that that is a beautiful name, Jennifer Folsom. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'll tell you something else, people. There is a lot to this connection thing, and we all are starting to really see that, right? Everybody is starting to see that. You could watch it live, right? You can watch and put that connection stuff that I'm always talking about here on the lifeboat, put it to the test, right? Go watch Reese's show last night. And I'm not just talking about me, people. I'm talking about all of the people in her audience. Watch somebody going through something really heavy. Watch somebody go through something the heaviest you've ever seen. At this, but it's here. It's here somewhere.
It's in the description.
It's in the description. There you go. The description box. If you drop down to the description box, it'll say something about merch, and then you click on there.
You just have to save lives before so much, so it's at the bottom.
There you go. I have to save some lives before I sell merch, according to Calhoun, so it's at the bottom, which makes perfect sense. Perfectly imperfect. I love that name. She made the video private. Okay. Well, if you missed last night's, then my heart is broken for you, because it was connection. Oh, what a kind thing to say. I've never so much as smoked a cigarette yet. I've never seen me. All right. So I'm not wearing contacts. Yet I've never felt such a connection to a channel and to people like I have here and with Reese's channel. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this too. I had a lot of fun going on Reese's channel in the beginning. But there were aspects to Reese's channel that I complained about privately. I did. And it had nothing to do with me, by the way. But I think Reese is watching Reese grow on on the air is probably an adventure for a lot of people. Honestly, I think people lose sight of the fact that a year and a half ago, she was in a cult, full blown, right? Full blown up to her eyeballs in a cult. It's fairly amazing to watch, and she's doing it in front of the entire world. I mean, right? This social experiment of social media is fairly brand new, but she's a fairly courageous person, and it was fairly impressive stuff. Spanky with the sleepy voice. Yes, I've been hearing that voice for decades now. Hey Frank, thank you for speaking up, and I'm glad that you're here. I really am. Thoughts and prayers with you. I had a very, very close friend who took care of a wife with MS, and it was a guy that I spoke with, and it was one of those things that for him was would happen. And it came in waves. You know, for very long periods of time, everything would be fantastic, and then he would be really, really overwhelmed, really busy, and but thoughts and prayers are with you, and I'm glad that you're here. This connection stuff is real, and I think that one of the reasons that that we get so much positive feedback, and by we I mean Reese and I, is because we do a connection thing in real time, and we do it with people watching. It's which doesn't happen often. In fact, you know what? It doesn't happen. How's that? It doesn't happen. It really doesn't, because when there are shows with two personalities, there is a format, right, that is followed to the letter of the law. Even on shows where there isn't a format, you know, Howard Stern was wide open; he could say whatever he wanted. There's still a format, right? It's very formulaic. He's going to make the person uncomfortable, and it's going to be toward the middle of the interview, like all of the stuff that you just become very accustomed to, and. Reese is one of those people that if you go on her show and you start talking, there's not much has about that much of a filter. And in the very beginning, I thought that that was for effect, and it kept me from wanting to be on the show more, to be really honest. And I thought she was kind of a negative person. Just keeping it 100% real. Now, by the way, before any of you hate me, I've told Reese all this. We've had this conversation. But then there was a paradigm shift, and you can watch it in her show. And I think that last night everybody probably saw toward the, if you happen to have caught that, that's, I think, been building for a really long time. And it's been somebody that's taking control of their life. Boy, if you've got a habit today that is something you need to take control of, I hope you saw last night's video. There was about 900 people, I think, that saw it live. But if not, it takes an incredible amount of courage to say, I'm not living the life I'm living anymore. If the life you're living is not satisfactory, right? And it's not satisfactory because of a chemical, it's not satisfactory because of a situation, it's not satisfactory because you have accepted something you shouldn't have, for years accepted something you shouldn't have, whatever the case may be, it takes a horrific amount of courage to leap off of the edge into the unknown, because unknown sucks, right? Wow. Wow. That may be the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. But first, coffee. Hello, Susie. Tommy, I started a channel because I'd become a bit of a recluse. You talked about connection until I believed it. Now I'm living it. Thank you, and Reese. And all that would make all of a tattoo. It really would. I kind of wish I could get that tattooed on me. That's pretty damn cool. Thank you so much for that comment. I don't think you have any idea how much that made my day. Honest to God. And can we put her link up? Somebody with a wrench. We throw a off to work, and please be safe, perfectly imperfect. Be safe and have a great day. You know, here's a perfect life lesson to all people involved. There are some things that, you know, are absolute lessons. For instance, if a guy can't look you in the eye while he shakes your hand, he's probably not a solid individual, right? If someone doesn't give you a full analytical fiduciary statement, you know, going forward with any kind of a business deal, especially among friends, don't move forward with it. And if Reese is doing a show, don't miss it, because you might not get a chance to run back and catch it. And that's just tragic. So she usually goes on about the same time every night. If I were you, I wouldn't miss it. Brazy, good to see you. Taekwondo, I'm glad you're here. Kat Kaplan, what's happening? Me saying I won't take it anymore is what caused the current hurt. But anyone who can hurt me is worth knowing. Wow. You know what? That's heavy. That really is cosmic. That's heavy. Now I'm definitely going to have to watch. By the way, I lurk on so many of those shows, you don't have any idea. Misbehaving. Became a YouTube member. Looking astounding in green. Danny's mom, good to see you. Better late than never is always the truth. Gypsy Soul, what a kind thing to say. Wow. You know what? Tommy, this is heavy. He says, my dad is a cult leader. Well, he's the head speaker for AA. Same exact thing. He used to get waxed and act a fool, so everybody looked at him, and now he just gets on stage to inflate his ego a bit. I want to tell you something. There's so much truth to that, and I don't even know your dad, but there really is so much truth to that. And I'm not picking on AA. I'm not. I'm picking on people like me. I'm picking on people like me and people like your dad. There is a danger. There is a danger in that I have a friend who is, and he's clean. He's not BSing anybody. He's clean. Dude's probably got 30 years of sobriety, but he has to do a speaker meeting 4 times a week. And where he is the speaker, has to. If he doesn't, he's very, very open about it. I mean, he's not this much disillusioned or BSing himself in the slightest. He said what you just said. I mean, he just said he traded the addiction of being drunk, that feeling, for the addiction of power and being on stage. That I don't enjoy I don't get an adrenaline buzz from doing that. It stopped a really long time into my speaking. You know, for the first probably 2 years I was a public speaker, I would get butterflies before I would go on stage. And by year 3, you would get butterflies for about the first 4 or 5 minutes, for about 3 minutes. And about half of that was before you went on stage. And about half of it was the first minute and a half that you were out there. And by the 5th year, I mean, you're coming up with games to play with other speakers so that you can try to push some adrenaline into it. I'm not joking. I've told the story on here a lot, but we used to play the card game, and you would get like 3x5 note cards, and we'd be sitting in the green room writing down words on these note cards. And there'd be like 6 or 7 people, Catwood crew, other speakers, all that. And everybody would write down, and you'd shuffle the cards up, and then you'd lay them so that you couldn't see them. And right before you walked out on stage, somebody would pick one of them up and hand it to you. And you had to read the word on the card. And then you would hand it to them as you're walking out on stage. It's our speaker, Tommy Scoville. Yay. And you're reading this. and it would say something ludicrous on it, like bulbous mushroom helmet. It was one that I remember very specifically. The term or phrase was bulbous mushroom helmet. You have 1 minute to work that into your speech, and there's a cash pool that goes. So this, I mean, and we did that adrenaline. You really do. But there are a lot of people that get addicted to that crap. Tommy Bird, I believe that. I heard of a channel called You Have a Collect Call From. No, but do you know that if I stopped right there, I would have known what that channel was? I wouldn't have to read the rest of that, Pebbles. How funny is that? You have a collect call from. You have a collect call from an inmate at the Washoe County. If you knew the number of counties that I've heard in my life, you have a collect call from. The funniest thing is when you're the other guy. Because I've been the dude making that call a couple of hundred times. Easy, right? But I have been the guy that somebody called from the inside 5 times in my life. And with almost, with 2 exceptions, my response was, why are you calling me? Did I call you? Right? When I was in there, did I call you and say, help me get out? Then why are you calling me? That's my usual. Although once it was Jack. Jack called me one morning and said, I'm in jail. I said, I got that by the voice recording that says you have a collect call from, except in the state of Nevada, the call's not collect. What it says is you have a call from an inmate at, and it says the name of the facility. You have a free call, but you still have to accept it as if it's a collect call. The city is kind enough to pick those calls up until you get in the back, and then it's $1.50 a minute. It's $1.50 a minute. That means that a 15-minute phone call requires you to be wealthy, especially if you want to have one right after the other. You want some no joke perspective? This is funny as crap, and it's not. So I married my attorney. We're divorced. It's a long ago. But while I was in the county jail, we were falling in love, right? And the county jail does not have a restriction on how often you can use the phone. If you're out during the day, you can use a phone. As long as there's not somebody waiting for that phone, right? And then you got to take it up with them. So if I'm 6'2" and the guy waiting for the phone's 5'2", chances are I'm just going to keep talking anyway, and he's going to go wait for a different phone. I mean, that's a crappy attitude and all that, but I just finished robbing a bunch of banks. I didn't care about anybody that was looking for a phone, But we spent $13,000 on phone calls from county jail to her phone. It's the amount of money that they charge, and that wasn't $1.50 a minute. But I've been in places that literally was $1.50 a minute. Cosmic nailed this too. 15 minutes to say stuff that's important takes 20 minutes to think of anything good to say. Well, you know what you do? This is no joke either. This is one of those things. So when I was last time my ex called me from jail, it was 5 per minute. Yeah, you know what? That's terrifying, but real. The amount of money that they can charge for calls. So, but what I used to do before I would get on the phone in the federal system, you get 300 minutes a month. You're not getting one more minute. I don't care. Oh, the only exception to that is a death in the family. And then Christmas time. During the month of November and the month of December, you get an addition. But at 300 minutes a month, you can talk 10 minutes a day, right? That's what you got coming, 10 minutes a day. So if you're in love, I would call my girl in the morning for 5 minutes. And I would call her at the end of the day for 5 minutes. And you had a list all day long that you wrote down on of what you're going to talk about, because there's none of that, hey, hon, right? How are you? How did your day go? There's none of that. It was always bop, 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 bop. We were going right down a list. And every other week, she would come to the prison and she would visit with me Saturday and Sunday for 7 hours each day. And that's when we would talk about important stuff. But that, if you knew how many times we'd be on the phone and she'd go, oh, just keep talking. And then at the end of the month, you got 6 days that you can't talk because that 10 minutes a day is impossible to keep to. You're like, screw it. Call me back. We weren't done talking. And you're like, all right, I'm using tomorrow and the next days. 300 minutes just seemed very unfair to me. Yeah, you got to get right past the small talk. And if you're having phone sex, and I'm not being funny, right? Sometimes the phone stops in the middle of it. You have to call back instantly and wait through that whole process of you have a call from, and then you're like, where was I? You were grabbing my hair. That kind of thing. Sorry, but it's the truth. Don't laugh. No foreplay. That's right, tree hugging Buddhist. Get to it. We don't have that kind of time. Do you know what people complain to me about AA more than anything in the world is? Women complain about it more than anything else. It's honest to God. I get more complaints about AA and AA. 12 steps in general. Women hate it because it's just, there are a lot of guys out there that are just such scumbags that they view AA and NA as a dating app. And that's really messed up. First time someone called my ex from prison, I got the bill and almost fell over. Yeah, I believe that. You know what? Everybody read this, please. Do not be picking up a phone that's hung up with the receiver upside down. Just a quick bit of jail advice. Solid advice. You understand what he means? Right? These are corded phones. So if the cord is facing up, not down, don't touch it. Just walk by and go to the next phone. That's it. It's just solid advice. The person coming back to that ain't going to have any sense of humor whatsoever if you happen to be talking on it. I promise you. He's just going to quietly go back to his cell and get something made of steel. I remember having a 3-minute phone plan of 1,500 minutes per month, and I had 1,464 minutes left at the end of the month. Good Lord. Do you know something? When they had those cell plans where you would have, I used to get 3,000 minutes a month. And then I would stop using the phone, set it down, and pick up my other cell phone, which would get me 3,000 minutes a month, right? That year, I had a $43,000 phone bill for the year. And I was splitting the stuff between two. But I lived on a phone. I was a public speaker. I lived on, and cell phones were brand new. They were so expensive. And you live in a hotel, right? I literally lived in a hotel or a different hotel every day. It was like this. In fact, I have spoke in this hotel. I got here yesterday and was like, oh no, man, I've been. But you don't really get to that. Every hotel starts looking the same because as a hotel, right? You speak downstairs in the convention center, and you come back upstairs. But like I got here yesterday, and they said when we were checking in, they said we assume you would like your name removed from the. I was like, right back to public speaking stuff. Assume you want your name removed from the. So if you call up right now and ask for Johnny Scoville's room, you're not getting them. Right? You're not getting me. You're not getting any of that. And they did that for speakers. Here's one great piece of trivia. All right, people, you had to hang 35 minutes in, but for the 181 of you that stuck around this long, when Paul McCartney from the Beatles, someone will beat me to this because I tell a long story, but would Paul McCartney from the Beatles, like there's another Paul McCartney, the one who works at the bank. No, Paul McCartney, when he would stay at a hotel, women would like to call up and ask if Paul McCartney was there, right? Obviously. And probably a ton of men too, but he was fairly popular among the ladies. I'm not sure if you knew this. There was this whole Beatlemania thing got kind of big back in the 60s. But he would check in under the name Paul what? This is an excellent trivia question, people. This is a great trivia question. And I'm going to blow your mind because it is one of those trivia questions that everybody should know the answer to. I was looking to see if, wait a second, am I sporting it? I am. Here you go. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. All right, here we go. Here we go. He would check in under the name Paul Ramon. The Ramones took the name Ramones because that's the last name. There you go. Ramon. That's how the Ramones, that's why the Ramones were the Ramones. They found out the name that Paul McCartney used to use when he would check into hotels. They found out that he would use the name Paul Ramon instead of Paul McCartney, and they became the Ramones. Do you know that? Tommy Ramone? Johnny Ramone? Dee Dee? And Joey. One of my totes is a Ramones tote. Nice, Cosmic Christie. I have a lot of Ramones stuff. The huge Ramones fan for a really, really long time. My sister's first boyfriend. So I was in first grade. Geez, Tommy, I'm so old I forgot that piece of trivia says BJ's Critters. Yeah, I know. Welcome to my world. You know what, people? The dialectic behavioral training is doing wonders for me. I forget. The road trip down here was so funny because so Johnny's had traumatic head injury. The both of us just got a lot of concussions, man. Right? I got way more, but both of us have had way too many headshots to the head. And the whole ride down yesterday, I can't tell you how many times we'd be right in the middle of saying something or a conversation or whatever. And one of us would point to something roadside, like, like you're driving by. Oh, that's a good size sign. I'm sorry, what were you talking about? No idea. Sorry, that one's gone. And, Spanky would pop up from the back seat and go, no, you guys were talking about this, this, and this. And we'd go, yeah, that doesn't help. Thanks. On to the next one. Bad Brains got their name from a Ramones song. See, I knew we'd have a couple of, there'd be a couple. Really? Tabasco's? That's interesting. If you ever get an opportunity to go take the tour of the McClenny Island thing at Tabasco, do not miss that opportunity. It is one of the coolest things in the entire world. It really is. It is a great tour. It's a cool operation. And you know what? Screw all you hot sauce snobs. I love Tabasco sauce. What do you think of that? I love Tabasco sauce. And Tabasco green is my favorite sauce on planet Earth. How's that? Not very hot, but boy, oh boy, is it tasty. I could drink it out of the bottle. Yeah, I was a fan of Bad Brains too. Ramones are very New York, says Frank Humphreys. No question. CBGBs, right? That was their club. Their private, well, not theirs completely, but pretty much. I mean, Blondie played there a lot. No, helmets are great. Helmets for me were a real problem. And the reason was I spent the vast majority of my life without wearing one. So right around the time they started saying it's really important for you to put on a helmet, what I did was got upside down. Like that's what all the pictures, the paychecks, if I made any money, it was because I was upside down. And when you throw yourself upside down, right, there's a decent amount of balance that goes on with that. And you have to learn that balance with 5 or 6 pounds on each foot, right? 7, 8 pounds on each foot. And no weight whatsoever on your head. So when you add weight to these backflips without a pool, without a sponge pit, foam pit, all the cool stuff that they have, we just kept crashing on snow. That's what we did. We hiked back up or took a snowmobile back up and just jumped again and hoped that the snow was soft, But The problem is, and you fall into snow, it's not the end of the world, but you're going 35 miles an hour when you hit the jump. So you're moving pretty quick. And there were a lot of concussions. Really, I so love the Ramones, says BJ Critters. I do too. Huge Ramones fan. But I couldn't put a helmet on. When I did, I over-rotated. My head always was too heavy. And it just made me, I was out of sync. And I was safer without one on. I know that sounds really stupid, but I really was. Putting one on caused so many more accidents that it didn't pay off for me. You auditioned to play drums in the Minutemen? No way. No way. Congratulations on 20K. As an Aussie, I prefer Promite. It's a bit sweeter, a little less harsh. Still needs to be scraped on heavily buttered toast, though. I'm getting a lot of feedback from a lot of Aussies about how much butter I need to put on the toast when I put on Vegemite, which leads me to believe that if it requires a 10-to-1 butter to Vegemite mix, perhaps we should just stick with the butter. What do you think? Or maybe go with a little maple syrup. I've yet to meet someone that said, I don't like maple syrup. BJ's Critter, I'm glad you said that too, because so you guys have all watched the things where the guys do the jumps or whatever. And when you look down, the snow always looks filthy. You're always like, it doesn't look very, they're pine boughs. They cut pine boughs off of trees so that you can get depth perception. Deeming, thank you. So that you can tell, because when you get upside down or you get way up in the air and you're doing a trick and you're looking down, everything's white. It's hard to tell if something is 4 feet away from you in white, 8 feet away from you in white, or 20 feet away from you in white. So they cut pine boughs off of trees and they sprinkle them in the landing so that you have something to visually look at. For me, that meant goggles were out. I couldn't put goggles on. They screwed up my depth perception massively. I could wear like sunglasses. So that's what I skied in. I never wore goggles. Now, if it was dumping, if it was like a just absolute, powder day or whatever, I would put goggles on, but I wouldn't leave the ground or do tricks with them on because I had zero depth perception with goggles on. Tapatio, I like Tapatio. Tapatio is a prison. That's one of the few hot sauces you can get in prison. You cannot get Tabasco. You can get sriracha from Hoi Fong. By the way, I talked for years when I was in prison. I used to say, my brother's a chili head. When I get out, I intend to meet Mr. Hoi Fong, right? Because in prison, I used to bottle one of the big ones a week, because nothing tastes like anything in prison. And everything in prison just becomes, what are you having for lunch? I don't know. Sriracha. Not exactly sure what I'll be squirting it all over, but what I'm having for lunch is sriracha, and that's just how prison goes. They took away. I'm telling you, a lot of people use a lot of sriracha. But Hoi Fong his name is not Hoi Fong. I think his name is David, actually. Frank's Red Hot, do you put that on everything? Every time I see Frank's Red, I can't say it. It's another word. There you go. Got another one. Frank's Red. Yeah, that one's Frank's Red Hot. Frank's Red Hot. I put that crap on everything. There you go. It's a punchline. Didn't come out quite as well. Frank's Red Hot sauce. That's so funny. It's so funny. Two bands I wish someone had told me about when I was 14 were the Ramones and Thin Lizzy. I only discovered them as an adult. On the bright side, you discovered them as an adult, right? Missing Thin Lizzy would have sucked. Wouldn't matter when you discovered. Thin Lizzy's awesome. I had a friend who's no longer with us. He passed away. Oh, do me a favor. kill that really quickly or if they demonetize me. The band who's playing, sorry. I had a friend that cat people are better than dog people. I said it out loud. There we go. What do you think of that? At least you caught it, right? Thin Lizzy was one of those bands. One of my very close friends who's no longer with us. When that would come on, when the boys are back in town would come on, every time it would get to that part of the song that would say the boys, he would shoot this number with his hand, like no matter where we were, he'd be driving his. He passed away he nodded out behind the wheel of a car. It was kind of a sad ending to that story because he was a funny dude. But the boys, the boys. Make no mistake, AA and NA have saved 500 times more lives than I am going to ever get anywhere close to even hoping to talk to, much less try to help. We stand on the backs of giants. AA was the greatest idea anybody ever came up with for treatment. It's the gold standard for what works. People coming together because they understand each other and understand the suffering that they go through. And once they get clean, sticking around to try to help others. Gold standard, right? We're copying it here. We do it in a different way, but it's just peer support. It's gold standard. But this puppy right here, right, has made the world a different place. Make no mistake. And now you can be anonymous. Now you can be anonymous, right? The idiot sitting in front of the camera can't, but everybody here can. You could, come back, change your name, remove the avatar, put something else up, call yourself Devil Dog, right? Nobody knows who the hell you are. Come and talk about whatever's hurting. That's anonymous. And there's nobody going like this, right? Staring at you when you walk through the door. I think this is the evolution. I do. I think it is the logical evolution of what came before. But I don't badmouth them. I don't like them. I really don't. There's a cult feel to them. You walk into the room and there's just something about it that feels culty to me. And I was invited to speak at a large NA event. Why? Because I'm a speaker.
No, why does my shirt smell like?
Oh, well, because you were in a casino.
My suitcase.
That's a little tougher to explain. You love vinegar on a lot of things. Can I assume, Gig Racer, that you love vinegar on French fries? It's a big Northeast thing. A lot of people put vinegar on French fries. Al's Fries, Burlington, Vermont. 25 years. Mischief, I really wish I did. But sadly, I do not have a trophy with me. Thank you, Edie. 20,000. Tell me 20K doesn't look good up there. Huh? That is a big deal. All right, people. I am going to go jump in the shower. There's going to be all kinds of lifeboat today. I'm cutting this one off a little early, but there's going to be lifeboat. This is going to be a pretty busy Saturday. Is Spanx fighting his six-pack in the background? He is. He is absolutely. DRG. Tried Al-Anon?
Well, I mean, you gotta know what Al-Anon's for. It's for family members of addiction.
Yeah. See? Yeah. No, there's a lot of people that eat that put vinegar on fries. Hot chips. Jen, have a fantastic day and please be safe. Kat, good to see you. Back to sleep. Travel arrangements. Got some book stuff I got to do. But I don't know when exactly that's going to be. But I'm going to be reaching out for some help to you. All right, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and I will see you on the next one. And Squirrel, if you're watching, get out of the basket. I love you all. See you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. Bye, Mama Scoville. Well, what do you know? Do